So, hi everybody. I'm Nithin. I'm an engineer at Snorkel. He gave a pretty great talk about or blurb about what we're all about, but we've had a lot of evolution over the last few years. We are primarily a data generation company now, but we were also a data curation studio that would be offered to a lot of on-prem customers that needed to in-house their data. So this would be people like banks who didn't necessarily want to give their data up, but needed kind of a model training kind of thing that they could run on their own. And so what I want to talk about today is how Prefect unified our orchestration stack, how we began the process of integrating Prefect, and a few of the learnings that we did along the way, and as well as kind of some interesting insights into how Prefect can be leveraged for your guys' business. So first I want to talk about the challenges that we were originally running into, because they are pretty niche. Our on-prem software requires high levels of compute because it's doing a lot of things like model training. It required low latency because a lot of people would be plugged into kind of like this, they would have this web app sort of flow that they could use to track how certain models were performing and how their labeling functions were doing. And that all needed to be very low latency because obviously if you're using a web app, it's really important that everything goes fast. Like even seconds can really throw things off there. And around the time that we were starting to consider Prefect as a possibility, we were starting our data as a service motion. And so this is obviously something that Scale has been doing for a very long time, but we were really newcomers to the space at the time, trying to leverage some of our research basis as a means of providing higher quality or like more niche data sets. So this was a motion that we were trying to spin up, and we saw what we had done previously, and we decided that it really wouldn't scale to what we needed to do in the kind of weeks and months ahead. Data generated by human in the loop needs to be run through a lot of different computes. At the beginning, it was mainly talking to LLMs. Now, when we look at things like RL environments, it's super important to leverage things like VMs as well. And we also needed observability for one-off FD scripts. We have a lot of kind of like packaging scripts that need to be run by certain people in our organization who need high autonomy, but can't necessarily be too constrained in terms of what they need high autonomy, but also we need to put some kind of guardrails in place and be able to say, okay, like, are you sure you ran, for example, this script? And also these scripts are very intensive, like for packaging. They might take 24 hours and encompass running evals against a huge amount of data in a data set. So caching becomes really important as well, because if you recompute, I'll talk about like some of the requirements when it comes to the compute requirements when it comes to some of these evals that we're talking about, but they are definitely not small. So we didn't want to kind of code that caching layer ourselves. We are still a startup, so we needed some kind of situation that would work. So let's take a look at what we were doing for our on-prem solution. We had Redis queues for coordinating microservices, which before kind of the era of workflows, like 2022-ish era, was like kind of the default way of approaching something like this. These were problematic for a variety of reasons. We had very low visibility. So we would have FDEs that were kind of like tasked with talking with each of our customers, and they would need to, if something was going wrong and it touched a lot of different spaces, they would need to aggregate logs across a variety of spaces, and they would need a lot of kind of special training in order to figure out how exactly to debug and diagnose whatever was going on. It also involved very tight coupling between our compute layer and our code base. So we had a lot of microservices that, for example, were doing things specifically for model training. And the way that something within model training might approach retry logic is very different than, for example, how like our general workhorse might approach retry logic. So retry logic was applied in some places, wasn't applied in others, and it just became very tough to reason about the code because you would have like a lot of these kind of reusable functions not necessarily being reused. So basically we had to choose something that would work, something that could solve the problem that we were newly addressing or newly seeing in the form of our data as a service motion, but also something that could scale to working with the kind of on-prem solution that we already had, and maybe making that quicker and making that more low to the ground and understandable and reliable. And so we chose Prefect. Prefect has a lot of advantages. It's compute-agnostic by design. We need to handle on-prem deployments, VMs, Kubernetes jobs, and a few other kind of niche use cases that I want to talk about. And this is one of the main benefits of Prefect that we found. It's flexible enough to let us build custom solutions where defaults don't fit. Because Prefect is open source and because they allow the customization of whatever kind of worker that you might want to create, it's actually like very kind of pluggable and very useful. You can really create whatever kind of worker might be especially suited to whatever task you're seeing. But the main benefit of Prefect for us was observability. Everybody has seen the Prefect's kind of like dashboard. I hope that I have an image of it later. But there is a kind of dopamine hit you get when you see your subflow fan out into a bunch of things and then come together at the end. It's very elegant, and just being able to kind of get that insight into, for example, is it the VM layer something that is failing? Is it something else? That can be very beneficial in terms of diagnosing problems that involve a lot of different services that are talking to each other. So I want to talk through our worker architecture because I kind of designed this talk assuming that a lot of you would be familiar with Prefect. So I want to talk about some things that we did. This is absolutely not to say that you should do any of these things. A lot of these solutions that we came up with were optimizations that were very much constrained by our problem. So for our on-prem deployments, we were compute constrained in terms of how much compute like the customers were willing to take on. And so pretty much every CPU needed to be leveraged to its maximum capability. And a lot of the jobs that we originally had were kind of doing one-off kind of long-running async jobs. And so we created custom async workers that would have multiple flows technically, but all of them would be delegated to the same event loop. Now, this has a lot of problems, and there's a reason that Prefect doesn't ship with this natively. If you have one kind of flow that is misbehaving and taking up more compute, it can starve a bunch of resources from the rest of the flows that are running on that. But for us, it ended up being a really kind of clever way of getting our observability cake from Prefect, but also managing to stay really lean in terms of the amount of CPUs that we wanted to use. We also created Ray workers. A lot of our model training code was written in Ray, and we noticed that, for example, Ray Task Runner would delegate jobs to CPUs, but then the worker processes that were like starting the initial flow would still be occupied until those were finished. So we kind of created that as a workaround for that. But if you were to look at what by and large Snorkel does today and how like most of our stack is organized, we really use standard Prefect workers. We've noticed that these are really capable enough of handling a super huge variety of kind of ML flow tasks. And yeah, they're great at surfacing, or they're great at talking and facilitating communication between a variety of services. And finally, we have Kubernetes workers. The Prefect workers we have our like a kind of script that will update them with whatever code might be, whatever code that we might add over time. And then our Kubernetes workers are set up slightly differently so that they can be leveraged by FDEs. They can last for something like 24 hours, and then they're resistant to restarts. In terms of how we're going currently, Prefect gives us extremely reliable insight into jobs across clouds. We've been able to really slash the amount of time that it takes for us to prototype different flows, because they can now be kind of agnostic to the underlying compute decisions of whatever they were executing against. And the inbuilt caching and retry handling we find to be very effective. To give an example, when we are testing something like an RL environment and we want to do an eval against it, it involves spinning up a variety of agents and testing their performance, and that can happen in a loop multiple times. So if you have a customer, or if you have like a human who might update some aspect of the data but might not touch the actual underlying zip file, that process can happen multiple times, and every single time that's happening, that's a huge amount of extra compute that we need to then provision in order to test some of these newer data points. So we saw a lot of benefit from Prefect's native inbuilt caching, and then retry handling, just having that being kind of replicated across the board was super helpful for us. So In terms of the AI landscape, as agents grow more complex, orchestration becomes your primary competitive differentiator. We really think that we're all really using the same models at the end of the day. But in terms of hacking, like what kind of context can you bring in? What kind of different surfaces can you interact with? All of that becomes super useful, and we find that Prefect is a really good solution for handling a lot of that. And then observability and ease of use compound over time. Just the ability to have observability for free, we think is a super great thing to have, I guess. And in production AI systems, unique problems are the norm. We have a lot of very unique issues that we had to deal with. We're sure that you guys have your own set of issues to deal with. So just the ability to kind of have an open source worker architecture that you can then model your own stuff off of, in the case that you have niche problems of your own, is very helpful. So I would say the extensibility and open source nature of Prefect are something that we really appreciate. Yeah, that's all I have. Any questions, or do we have time?
We do have time. Maybe a question for Nithin.
So are you using any kind of agent to call those orchestration flows?
Primarily, I mean, we definitely may, but I don't. Primarily, a lot of our kind of eval stuff is deterministic at the moment. So no.
What other questions do we have?
Please. You talk a lot about entities. Were there any particular challenges you ran into that you'd like to?
Yeah, totally. We did see that for low latency flows, we had some startup time issues that we needed to deal with. We created some pretty hacky workarounds for those, using I think at one point we used a Redis signaling mechanism such that we could very quickly identify into because the polling mechanism was too slow, so we could really quickly start flows. Now, a lot of those things are less important because we've found that the size of our flows and the amount of things that we want to orchestrate has really grown over time. And also latency considerations have become a lot less bad. But that was definitely something that we ran into a lot in the early stages. Also, definitely a lot of the kind of inbuilt stuff that Prefect ships with can be very compute. It kind of assumes that you have all the compute in the world sometimes. So it can definitely be, but at the same time, there are benefits to the way that it's been set up for the majority of cases. But yeah, there are times where you probably do want to have a lot of different async workloads running within the same event loop, but still be able to visualize them as you would anything else. But I understand that they can interact with each other negatively.
All right, well, thank you for speaking.